Hello, everybody. How are you? So welcome to Unit 2 training. If you are on here, just go ahead and type in the chat box. Hello, so I know you're here. You'll probably want to grab some paper, something to kind of jot some notes down, especially if you have questions. Then we'll want to go ahead and get those down. So go ahead and just say hi in the chat box. You guys know where that is. It's right to your right. Hello. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Chelsea. So we have so much stuff to talk about today. So I'm going to go kind of fast. But if I need to slow down or repeat stuff, whatever, just tell me. And of course, jot your questions down and I'll be here till we need to be, right? So for all of your questions. So we're going to go over copy, content, the overview of kind of like what happens in Unit 2. What's up, Stacy? And then we're going to delve a little bit into email marketing. Hi, Emma. So it's going to be a lot, and there is a ton of stuff on the portal that kind of goes deeper into some of this stuff, but I think some of it's just easier when I explain it, okay? So let's get started with the training. Okay, so where are we right now? Where are we? So we've talked a lot about our passion, our purpose, our calling. We have our Facebook pages up and running with consistent content. So that definitely has to be before, what's up, Meredith? Before we worry about anything else, we have to get super consistent. Hi, Jen. With the social media content. So that has to be super consistent. We're going to go over kind of what that all should look like. But as far as consistency, that's kind of the name of the game in this beginning stuff. What's up, Melissa? Hi. So we have that up and running, and we have our I teach statements done, or at least worked on. We're refining our niche. We're brainstorming content as far as like what we want to say. Website is either done or under construction. Most of you guys are just in the middle of doing it, which is perfect. And you've been challenged to create before you consume. So that's really important. And I gave you guys that challenge because it's super, super important. If we're so busy worrying about what everybody else is putting out and writing and doing, then we're never really focused on what we're doing, right? Because you're always doubting yourself. You're always like, oh, I don't know if I should put that, or someone's already saying that, or they're not going to like it, or whatever. And so we get into this, it's a mindset. It's kind of like a head game that we get into. So that stuff is going to continue as we head in and we start to layer more and more on our plate for this unit. All right. So we have all that stuff of what we've done. And I know some of you guys are like, but I need to sell, like I need to make money. I need to, right? Like I'm sure some of you guys have already thought like, how am I going to make money out of this? Or what am I going to sell? Or what is my product going to look like? And that's all like so valid, right? Because this is a business. After all, it is a business. But this isn't a sales business. So this isn't just where you just like throw something up on the internet and people just buy it. That's just not how it happens because no one knows us yet, right? So no one knows us. They don't know who we are. They're not trusting of us yet. And we don't have our products yet. So it's a very different type of business. So we can't just throw up a sales page and hope people are just going to buy. This isn't a hoping game, right? It's a process, one that takes time. So build trust first, sell later, of course. The common mistake is selling too soon. So I've seen it over and over and over again where people are so urgent to sell and they put together a product or service. They don't really do the foundational pieces. They throw up a sales page and crickets. And that sucks. No one wants that, right? So everyone wants to, when it comes time to launch whatever it is, they want people to buy it. So whether it's one person or 10 people or 20, everyone wants someone to buy it. Having zero is hard. So we would just want to make sure that we're doing things in kind of the order, quote unquote order. And you know, it's really about getting this lifestyle. So when you think about your desires, the reason that you want this business, it's got to be more about this lifestyle, about being there for the moments, about being able to stay home, to have something of your own, to be fulfilled. It's therapeutic to write, to heal, to help others. Those things have to be at the forefront before making money, because if it's reversed, people are going to see right through that, and it's just not going to be authentic. And if we're not really here to help people's problems, then people see right through that stuff. Okay, so I'm always going to bring this stuff up because I think it's just important to talk about as we get into Unit 2. So what is happening in Unit 2? So what are we getting into? So website should be completed by the end. So You have the rest of February to really get it completed. And I'm talking about all of the pages, the plugins, the social media, all of it. So it's working. And then we're ready to put sales pages. We're ready to do email marketing. We're ready to do all of that stuff on the website. So as your website is coming up and you're doing it, keep posting it in the group for everybody to look at and for me to give you feedback on your pages. Everybody's going to have different stuff on their websites and it's going to look different, but there's a basic stuff that you definitely need on your website. It doesn't need to be perfect, right? Because at the end of the day, no one really cares what your website looks like. Yes, it needs to be good. It needs to be functioning and working, but you having like the coolest website is just not worth it at this point in your business. Why? Because things are going to change. It's really expensive. So just getting one up is really more important than worrying about if it's perfect, right? So continuing content on social media, we're going to talk a lot about branding and how we want our brand to be. So kind of like the vibe, the mood of our brand. Refining our voice and message on our content. We're always going to be working on that. We're going to be doing a lot of the content and copy kind of workshop in the Facebook group where we're pulling apart everybody's copy so that we can all learn. So even if you're not commenting on the daily post or whatever, you definitely want to read my comments below so you can see how to tweak copy. I mean, look at last year is the first year I did the copy workshops with the girls for a month, and we pulled apart everybody's copy, and like I don't even think twice about their copy anymore because it just kind of grew overnight just by learning from everybody else's. So that it's going to be huge for you guys. Live your passion, meaning if you love what you're doing, I want you to live it, right? Live it, be it, do it. And so your challenge this month is to blog every single day. So at the end of the month, you should have 28 new blogs on your site. And then phone calls, we'll get into what this looks like, but this is also something else I'm going to add for this month is kind of getting some people on the phone. I'm going to walk you through what I actually want you to do with that in just a moment. Email marketing 101, so we're going to get into the basics of that. And then, like I mentioned, the content copy workshops where we're really pulling apart our copy. We're giving constructive criticism. We're looking at it from a business lens, and we're really seeing kind of how to tweak it, things like that, to make it to where it's more relatable, more insightful, more actionable, all of those things that our content needs to be. So when I say live your passion, what the hell does that mean? It means to fall in love with the process, right? So entrepreneurship, as you've already seen, is not easy, right? Why do we think most people quit? Because this shit is hard, right? It is so hard. It is emotional, and we haven't even gotten anywhere yet, right? We've just built a website and we're already freaking out. So it is hard, and it's not going to get easier this year. I'm promising you this. It is going to get harder. It's going to get a little bit easier, and then it's going to get a little bit harder. The minute you think you figured something out, something else is going to go wrong. So just learn to kind of roll with it and kind of dance with the self-doubt, dance with the fear, dance with it so that you can kind of just roll with it, learn, grow. You're going to grow so much in these 10 months. So just kind of fall in love with this process that you get to wake up and you get to write about whatever the hell you want to write about. And you get to decide when you do stuff in your business, which is a really cool thing coming from, working for other people. So just kind of fall in love with that process, right? So getting excited to create and share your message, right? Your message is going out to the world. People are seeing it, they're responding, they're liking it. You're changing lives. Ultimately, you're changing lives, right? Your message is helping people, of course. The more you write and create, the better you're going to get. So rather than waiting to see what really good copy is, I need you to write it, right? So same thing with live streams, right? How many of you guys are scared of live streams? When I tell you that I want you to live stream, you're probably like, oh my God, I don't want to live stream. Like, that's really scary, right? Well, you're never going to get better at live streams if you don't do them, right? Everybody has the first few videos that they did as an entrepreneur and they suck, right? Like, mine are hysterical. Everyone laughs at them. I look at my copy from 3 years ago and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what was that? I don't even know who I was talking to. I was just like putting shit out there. But if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be where I am today, right? Copy's no problem for me. Videos are no problem. I wouldn't be there if I didn't do it, right? So sitting there and just being stuck, like analysis paralysis, basically not doing anything, is not going to get us where we need to be. So just be open to learning and growing, of course, and of course, continue reading, listening to those podcasts, and just really thinking about things differently and harder. And we're going to talk a little bit about that too. So there's a lot about idea generation and such in the portal under resources. And it's a lot about how to think harder, how to think different, how to get your content to be quote unquote, you know, spicy or sexy, right? Because sometimes it does feel like everybody's saying the same thing, or how can I say it so where mine kind of stands out, right? So super quick, this is just important to review what is the online business, right? So what is not an online business? Numbers, magazine covers, a network, a body, just ideas, excitement without action, and a website without content, right? None of these things are a business. There's people on Instagram with 24.6 thousand followers, millions of followers. They don't have a product, they don't have a service, they probably just have a rock and bod, they're in a network, maybe they have a website, but there's nothing on it. That is not a viable business, right? So a viable business must have an email list and must have a website with content, right? So that's what we're building is a business, and that's going to take time, right? So just remind yourself this. I just want to bring it up because it's really hard when you see other people and you're like, oh my God, how did they get there? Wow, they're so much farther ahead of me. Sometimes they don't even have a business. It just appears that they have a business, right? Because of whatever it is. So let's talk really quick about the pieces of your online business. So the network, your network, you know, like who you know, your products are your services, your content, and your brand. So in order of, and you see how I made them small to big. So your brand, meaning your values, your tribe, your trust, is going to be the biggest piece of your online business. Well, we don't just have that, right? So we have to create that. We have to build that. That takes time. So products and services are amazing. Content is amazing. That's kind of what gets us to that brand, to our tribe, whatever. But it's just important to remember that that's kind of the biggest piece of this. All right. So we talked about this just a little bit. I just wanted to make sure we just review it, just because I think it's easy when we're building the website and we're doing all of this stuff. We get caught up in numbers. We get caught up in, you know, wanting to get all these followers on Facebook, like right now. Like we start our Facebook page and we're like, why aren't there more followers? Or I want more subscribers, or why aren't people liking my stuff? We get so caught up in that because, you know, our subconscious is telling us, well, if people like it, then people are seeing it and I must have a business. And so just remember that this stuff is about the quality of connection. It's off of the, we're not convincing people to buy our stuff. It's a different kind of business. Like when I was doing Beachbody, I was always convincing people to join my challenge group and buy Shakeology and do all this other stuff. And I felt like I was always selling. This is like you sell hard sell, but it's only like 7 days. And then it's reset, downtime, no more. And then you ramp up, you sell hard, and then you're done. When we sell hard. And we don't shy away from it. We sell. Everybody knows we're selling. If they don't know we're selling, then we didn't do a good job. That's what I always say. If your people don't know you're selling, then we didn't do a good job. But when we're done selling, we're done selling. We're not always after the dollar. We're not chasing dollars, right? And that's what the MLM people, those people, they're always chasing the dollar. They're chasing the sale. They're chasing the coach. They're chasing, and that's not what we're doing, right? So right now we're building organically, meaning we're just putting out great content, and those people are going to resonate and come and follow us. Yes, we can run ads. Yes, we can do all of this stuff. But right now we're focusing on the warm organic traffic, which of course takes time, right? So how do you build a successful brand? So I keep saying like brand, and you're probably like, what does that even mean, right? So how do you build a successful brand? So 3 parts to the brand. First is you, right? And I think sometimes we forget about this. And I know Carly asked the other day, is like, can I post this? Like, is this okay to post? Because it was like a messy day and a really crappy day. I'm like, absolutely, because it's your house, your rules, and that's what people relate to, right? People have to see you. You are your brand, right? You're the face of your brand. So if I don't see your pictures on your website and your social media, and I want to see you, I want to see everything about you. I want to see your expertise. I want to see your 3 to 5 quirks. So I want to know about you. I want to, when I say, okay, Stacy, I want to know the 5 things about her that she wants me to know. I want to know that she loves food. I want to know that she does this. I want to know blank, right? So even if you don't think it's interesting, people do, right? You could probably name 3 to 5 things about me that you know, and that's by design. I want you to know those things. There's probably things that you don't know, but that's also by design, right? I don't want everyone to know everything about me, but you probably know the 3 to 5 things about me that I want you to know. Those are like my knowables. I play those up a lot, right? So somebody the other day, someone was asking me like, don't you like feel bad that you like don't cook? I'm like, no, I don't feel bad that I don't cook, but I play it up. I play it up even more. Yes, I don't cook. I don't turn on the stove, but when I get takeout and stuff like that, I'm always posting it, right? Because that's something I want people to know about me, that I'm very happy about not being a domestic person. I'm totally fine with that. I'm settled into it. I actually like it. It works with our family. Like, that's important, right? So definitely you want to highlight things about you, your expertise, but also your quirks in your business. We also want to know about your passion. So I want to see authenticity, I want to see transparency, and I want to see real shit from your voice. So instead of trying to stand behind the company or behind the brand, just speak and be you, right? So if you want to cuss, cuss. If you don't want to cuss, don't cuss. If you want to talk about if you want to use your kids' names, use them. If you don't. But I want to see you showing up in a way. So for example, if I was I'm gonna use Stacy as an example because I just know her niche and her brand is all about fixated on food. So when she's talking about food, she's gonna get real and raw with what it's like to emotionally eat a box of cookies or whatever it is. That's what I want to see, because that's what people are going to relate to. We're going to get into our avatar and ideal customer, but most of you guys, and we've talked about this on the phone, most of our ideal customers, our clients, are us at some point in our lives, right? So for example, my ideal customer is me a couple years ago, not me now, right? I'm not talking to me now. I'm talking to me a couple of years ago. You guys know that person better than anybody else, right? You guys know what it's like to struggle or have those issues better than anybody else because you've had them. You're talking to that person. So when you talk with your voice and your message, it's got to come out with that passion. Most of you guys are really good at this already, but just as a reminder, whether you use a meme or a recipe or a workout, it doesn't matter. It's got to still come from that voice of you. And I want to see that passion in your words. And finally, the last piece to your brand is solutions to struggles. So we already have our I teach statement. You already know your niche as far as like the age and if it's women or moms or whatever. And so we have to validate that your people are struggling with what it is that you provide a solution for. So we have to know, bottom line is we have to know what their biggest struggle is, right? We have to know what's keeping these women up at night. Why are they crying? How will life be different when they solve this problem? Whether it's overeating or exercise or fitting into their clothes or looking stylish or feeling like they're doing something with their kid instead of sitting home and being a stay-at-home mom, whatever it is, you guys all have the solutions. We just have to make sure that we're tying our product service to be the solution to their number one struggle. When we do that, everything else falls into place. What happens is a lot of times we think we know and we don't really know, right? So we create this amazing product or service and we think it's great and we put all this time and effort and we throw it out into the world and everyone's like, no buys, right? Why? Because we didn't take the time to do the validation and the market research and all of that stuff, which is what we're going to kind of get started on this month, all right? So just a reminder that your message brings your audience and your audience helps refine your message. What does that mean? It means when you put out a piece of content, so let's say you put a piece of content out about, like, I'll put something out about postpartum bodies, about, you know, not needing to get your body back and like blah, blah, blah. I just write this whole piece on this and my audience loves it. What are they telling me by liking it and sharing it and responding and commenting? They're telling me they like it. They're telling me they want more. So what does that mean for me? Right? They're refining my message. If I'm putting stuff out about, I don't know, consistency, for example, and they're like, I just kind of getting blah response. I write emails about it, no, not so much of a response. Then what does that tell me? they're not really that into it. That's not really that's not really me, right? So this will come over time as we start to send emails and write blogs and things like that, especially this month as you're blogging daily and you start to come up with all these different topics, start to see what's resonating with people, what people are sharing, what people are liking, what people are commenting to you about, and you'll start to see it will start to get even narrower as we refine and create more content. So your business is never about what you think as much as it is their problems and solutions to those. So that's kind of what I was saying before. When we focus on the solutions to the problems, we'll never doubt. It's like when we know that we're solving a problem for women, we never doubt putting that product out there, and you'll never doubt pricing it the way you do, right? So before Business Beyond Baby this year, I got on the phone with a bunch of women, 50 plus women, and talked to them about what? Building a business. What would they want? What did they need it for? Why is it important to them? How would life change if they built their own business and had this autonomy and all of this stuff? And I asked every single woman what she would pay for it. And I didn't do that because I didn't know what I was doing. I asked because I wanted to make sure that what I was thinking hold on, let me speak first. What they were thinking. Okay, so if I was going to come out with a $5,000 product and every woman said $2,000, then I would have missed the mark big time on that, right? If every woman told me that she wanted to make a business that was going to make her, $50,000 in 6 months, then I probably would have said, guess what? This isn't the right product. Like, that's not my customer, right? That's not the person I want, because that's not what this is, right? So, so it's really important to get on the phone, and that's what we're going to talk about in a moment. But you'll never doubt yourself when you know your audience is struggling with emotional eating, and you know that they're up at night thinking about why the fuck did they just eat the kitchen before they went to bed, and you create a solution to get them to stop doing that. You will never ever doubt yourself by putting that product out there, because 2 reasons. You will feel so confident because you know it's the answer, right? Because you know it, you've done it, you've experienced it, it solved your problem, it solved other people's problems, but you also know because you know that's their #1 struggle. And when we talk about marketing and all of that stuff, I'll teach you how to tie it to the struggle. So that's why we've got to know what their struggles are, right? So we've got to know, super, super important stuff. So I talked about kind of building your tribe, branding, all that stuff. So how do you build your tribe? GSD, get shit done, create a shitload of content. And that's never going away, guys. I'm going to keep talking about content until October. I'm going to keep saying create consistent content. And I know you're going to be like, oh my God, here she goes again. But I am. I'm going to keep doing it because in your first year, you have to create a shitload of content. You have to. Be the expert. So again, solve the problem. So super niche down. As far as the experts, we talked about the 3 types of experts, right? We talked about the role model, the results getter, and the researcher. So you don't need to be all 3 of those yet, but you definitely need to be the expert in that. You understand it, you know it, you're using your own experiences. Maybe you have a certification, maybe you don't, but you have a lot of knowledge, you've been there. Remember, you only have to be 1 step ahead of your ideal client. That's super important. You don't need to be light years ahead. You just need to be 1 step ahead. And you need to be the friend first, right? Friend first, teacher later. So they need to see your passion and your personality, because they are only going to know you, like you, and trust you if you are their friend, and they know that you get them and you understand them, right? All right, everybody good? I'm gonna stop for a break, first of all, because I need a sip of water. But tell me if we're good. Do we have any questions yet? Are we good? I know I'm going fast. Everyone's good? You're welcome to comment while I'm talking, by the way. Hello, anyone here? No? Okay, good. Good, good. Okay. All right, so let's talk about providing value. So this is getting into more of the content stuff, right? So how do you provide massive value? And I know everyone wants to know this. So some things that we've done before, write down your story, right? So write down your story as far as where you've been, right? I would wait till your website is done to post, but it doesn't have to be done. It just needs to be like somewhat done. I would get your website done and then post your blogs and just have your blogs in Word. So until your blog's ready, I would post them, keep them in Word, blog every day on Word, and then you'll have them all to post on there. So you want, when your blog is ready, your website's ready, you want to have some content on there already loaded up. Because most people go and they just binge read. They don't go to your website like every day, right? They go, they read a bunch of shit, and they leave. Okay, so we talked about our 3 to 5 core values. So make sure that is, you're sticking to those, you reread those, you remember those, right? That's really easy to forget. You're like, oh, like I wrote these down and they were so good, and then I just started doing something else and I totally forgot that, right? So write 5 lessons that you've learned, right? So 5 lessons you've learned along the way, right? From, remember where you were is who you're talking to, who your ideal client is, or maybe you're never there, but you get it, you understand it. So 5 lessons that you've learned. So for example, I've learned that my self-worth is not defined by a number. I've learned that the hard way, but I have learned it. I've also learned that life is too short to live on a diet. That's another lesson I've learned. That's going to be an underlying theme in a lot of stuff I write, because I spent too many years doing it. And I know that there's a mass majority of women who really do think that they're really good when they weigh 1 whatever, 2 whatever. They think they're amazing, when really, that really doesn't matter, okay? 10 struggles that your women face, right? So we're going to get into, if you don't know these yet, we're going to talk to some people and kind of figure this out, get a little bit more narrowed on this, but we definitely want 10 struggles that they face, 10 solutions to those struggles. So if one of their struggles is emotional eating, then what are the solutions? Not the solutions, your solutions. What are your solutions to that problem that they're facing? If they are not consistent and they keep missing their workouts, what are your solutions? If they can't seem to drink all their water, which is kind of not a huge struggle, but let's say it is, what is your solution, right? So there could be more than 10, but these struggles are the ones that are, these are the big struggles, right? So these are the things that maybe they're crying about. These are the things that when they're lying in bed trying to go to sleep, they can't, because they're too busy thinking about this, right? So these are major, major struggles that are stopping them from doing other things in life, right? They're stopping them from being a confident mom. They're stopping them from having sex with their husband. They're stopping them from, standing up for themselves. Whatever it is, these are big, big struggles that are going to have such greater effects in their life when they find solutions to these. These aren't like, oh, I'm going to drink water and then I'm just going to feel better for that day, right? These are big, big problems that we're talking about. And then when you're writing these down, why should someone listen to you? So that's a really important thing. So when you're writing when you're writing all these things down, so you have your story, you have your values, you have lessons, struggles, you have your solutions, write this down. Why should someone listen to me? Why should they listen to you? What do you have that sets you apart, right? Why? What's your experience? Have you been through this? Have you lived it? Do you know it? How do I know that you know it? Have you told me that you know it? Have you shared with me the back end of the story? Have you shown me pictures of when I share? I don't have a ton of pictures from when I was, that time in my life when I was like jumping from doctor to doctor and begging for medicine and trying this program and this product and this blah, 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 right? I know that. I get it, right? I understand that. I've been there, done that, and I'm in a very different place. Sure, I have certifications and all that other stuff too, but I don't really talk about that because no one really gives a shit. They get it. They care that I understand them and I get it, right? If someone was going to talk to me on a diet, I could talk to them all day long because I understand. I've been there. I've been in that place of thinking that I couldn't go to work because my pants didn't fit or whatever it was. I understand the feelings of being inadequate and being unworthy and feeling fat and bloated and gross and blah, blah, blah. I use those words because I know. And those are the words in our copy that gets people's ears perked up, right? I don't like the word weight loss. I think it sucks. I hate the word. But if I want to get people's attention, I'm going to use the word weight loss. Why? Because my people are saying the word weight loss. I focus on fat loss, right? I don't really say the words fat loss. Mostly, and this is a lesson I learned after 2 years of business, by the way, I learned that people weren't listening to me because I was talking about fat loss and they didn't think they needed fat loss. All they cared about was losing weight. So when I started saying weight loss, all of a sudden their ears were like, oh, I like her. I need help from her. I want to coach with her, right? So sometimes our copy, the words we use, have to be words that our people are using. And that's why we're going to get on the phone and we're going to talk to people, because we need to hear what they're saying, right? We need to hear the words that they are using so that we can take them and use them in our copy, right? If they're using the words fat, bloated, disgusting, I don't really like any of those words, but if that's what I need to use to get their attention on what I'm providing to solve that problem so that they will no longer feel that way, then that's what I have to do, okay? And then one more question is, how and why are you an expert? So it kind of goes along with why someone should listen to you. How are you an expert and why are you an expert? Do you have a certification? Have you gotten results? Have you gotten other people results? Have you developed a system or a framework that works? Maybe you've developed, like Jade is he's a framework person. He develops acronyms and frameworks that work. He tests them, he beta tests them, he tests them 1,000 times, and then he puts them out there, and that's why they attract to him, because it's simple, it's easy to remember. So why is he an expert? Sure, he's a doctor, he knows a lot, but he also provides very simple frameworks that are easy to understand that get people results. Himself, other people, blah, 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 okay? So those are just some really good questions and some starters for you to write down. Sorry, the dog is barking. So one of the challenges for this unit is to get people on the phone. So I have on the portal, I've listed for you to get at least 5 people on the phone. These can be friends, or they can just be people who are, on your Facebook page, people who like your posts, whatever. You can get them on the phone. They can be people in Business Beyond Baby. They can be whatever. I need you to get them on the phone. You're going to schedule a 20 to 30-minute phone call with them, and you are going to talk to them about their struggle. You're not going to pitch anything. You're not going to tell them you have an amazing product coming out, nothing. All you're going to do is listen and rate like as fast as possible, or you can even record the call. You can use free conference calling if you don't want to use your cell phone. It's a free account. You can sign up and you can have them call in, and then you can meet them on the call, and then you can record it as well, so you can have it to listen to. This is where you're going to get a lot of your copy, what I call a copy bank, meaning a lot of the words that you're going to use in your copy. Plus, you're going to just reach out to women, talk to them, and you're going to listen to their struggle. So first thing you're going to ask them is, what's going well? So the first thing you're going to say, hey, Emma, so happy to be on the phone with me. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes. I just want to talk to you about some things starting in my business. And I really just I'm just refining some things. So when we talk about you and life and everything in general, tell me what's going well right now. What are they going to say? Write in the chat box, what are they going to say when I ask them what's going well? What's the first thing a woman who you're going to talk to is going to say when I ask what's going well? Anyone? It is a no-fail starter for a phone call. When you ask what's going well, are they going to say, yeah, like my husband and I are getting along really well, and my kids are blah, 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 and oh my gosh, like we're out of debt, and oh my gosh, I'm just working out, and like I'm getting so fit. No. They might talk about their kids, but Emma is correct. All they're going to talk about is their struggle. They're going to tell you. If you say what's going well, they're going to be like, oh my God, I cannot stay on a plan. Or, oh my God, like I just ate the kitchen last night and blah, 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 blah. They just keep going on. That's just what women do, guys. It's just like a no fail. So when you ask them what's going well, they might say like 1 or 2 things, and they're going to go right to their big problem. And then you just keep listening. You just keep freaking listening. You just say, tell me more. Tell me more about that. If they say, oh my God, I made it through the day. Tell me more. Well, my husband is freaking this and da 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 and blah 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 and blah 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 blah, and they just keep going and keep going and keep going, and you just keep listening and keep listening and keep listening and keep writing and writing and writing, because they're telling you everything you need to know at this point. And you might say, well, what comes up for you? So maybe if they're saying something about like their diet or how they just keep falling off this damn plan, or God, I'm just walking around starving all day long, blah, blah, blah. You might ask, like, how does that make you feel? What comes up for you? So super open-ended questions to get them what? Talking more, right? Because you want the struggle to come out of their mouth. You don't want to say, so tell me about your diet and exercise, like, how's that going for you, right? We don't want to pin it to diet and exercise. We just want to open it up to hear their struggles, right? If we need to narrow it a little bit, you totally can, but you just want to see what comes out of their mouth to see what their biggest struggles are. You want to ask them what comes up for them when we're talking about, we're talking about the feelings. We want to know once they spill out their struggle. So maybe it's like, I'm so fucking fat, I can't fit in any of my clothes, and I can't even think about anything else all day long because my pants are like digging into me, and every time I go out in public, all I think about is everyone staring at me. I haven't done my hair in a week. I don't give a shit. My husband thinks I'm fat. All I look at is my belly roll hanging over, and they just go on and on. And then you ask them, well, how urgent is that? Like, so if you could get rid of that, like how urgent on a scale from 1 to 10, like how urgent is it that you find a solution for feeling fat? You just repeat the struggle back to them, right? We're not trying to like sugarcoat things. They said it, so you just repeat it back to them. You ask them how urgent it is. Oh, it's a 10. It's a 10. I have to lose this weight. I'll do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, I have to do it to lose this weight. What would be different in your world if you lost the weight? What would happen, right? So when you lose the weight, what's going to happen in your world? Then they'll tell you what's going to happen. What is going to happen? I don't know. They're going to tell you, but you need to write that stuff down, right? Because that's going to be some of the stuff that we're going to use in our sales pages, when we're creating our products and solutions. We're talking about outcomes, right? Because everything has to be tied to an outcome. So the outcome has to be so freaking specific. So that's why one of the girls in my alum launched a continuity group, which is like a monthly group. And she talked about support a lot. And no one bought. Well, people did, but not a lot. And when we went back and reviewed, it was kind of like, that's not tangible, right? There's no immediate result to support, right? Because that's kind of like an ongoing thing, right? So for example, like my online coaching club, I don't sell like, we're just an amazing group of women who's a tribe who get each other, which we are, but that's the long game, right? That's the long game for it, because that's not a selling point for a woman who feels fat and doesn't want to get dressed. That's not what's going to help. So we have to make sure that we're using that copy. Does this make sense for getting people on the phone and asking them these questions? Just give me a yes that this makes sense. This is a great post to post in some of those Facebook groups that I asked you guys to join and kind of be a part of. So a lot of them have like promo days or whatever. And if you feel like this group is a good match for you, you can say, I'm hosting like 15 to 20 minute discovery calls, and I'm looking for 5 to 10 women to hop on the phone with me. It'll be like 30 minutes, no sales, no pitches, nothing. We're just gonna go on the phone and talk. And so if you are in a Facebook group, this would be a really great place to get new people. And after this call, you can totally say, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. Thank you so much. I'm in the process of developing a product or whatever that's going to help you feel confident or help you lose the weight or help you live in a balanced way, whatever you want to say. Make sure you sign up for our email list, and you'll be the first to know when it comes out. You can totally do that. And we're actually going to do this when we're getting ready to create a product. But this is really, really important for getting niched down and making sure that we have the copy bank. Okay. No, not right now. Not just because it's a paid group. So I would go to, there's a million free groups of women. So I would try there first and let me know if you're having struggle getting people. Okay, so everybody's good on what we want to ask on these phone calls. Okay, and then if we're having trouble getting people, definitely let me know in the Facebook group, and we can brainstorm ways to get more people. all of that stuff. So I might know people that have the same issue that of your thing, and we can coordinate people and all that stuff. That would be awesome if we could do that, okay? All right, so now I'm telling you to create all this content, but how, right? Everyone's like, how do I create content? How? And I know you're gonna hate when I say this, but if we're so caught up in how, then we leave very little room for our voice to shine, right? Because there's really no magical way. If it's you, then it's perfect, because you are you, right? And so people are going to relate to you, and that's what we need. We need people to relate to you. So don't get too caught up in the how. Yes, there's definitely tips and tricks and all that stuff that we're going to talk about. Like Jen's blog, I talked about how like she pre-framed it and all that stuff. So we're going to talk about that stuff, but don't get so caught up in the how, just because that leaves room and it makes us paralyzed. And okay, Stacy, sorry, not finding great groups. I don't know if I'm being too specific or what, but all the ones I've joined about food obsession are not helpful. I would try regular moms groups. Yeah, I wouldn't even go, I wouldn't just narrow to food. I would just do moms groups. Like there's a ton of like moms. I would try moms who are something about diet, exercise, fitness, because the majority of those women are struggling. Why? Not because they're not strict enough, because they're what? Emotional eating, completely obsessed, all that stuff. So I would search for more moms stuff, not moms like let's talk about poop diapers. Like I would go more towards like health and fitness type stuff. All right, epic content. So I'm going to talk about epic content a lot this month especially. And so what makes valuable content? So these 4 things. It doesn't need to be all 4 of these things. Valuable, insightful, educational, and actionable, right? So the content has to be at least one of these things. So as long as it's providing value, insight, education, and action, it does not need, again, it does not have to have all 4 of these things. So your email doesn't need to be all 4. The blog doesn't need to be all 4. The social media doesn't need to be all 4. As long as it's one of these 4 things, you're good, okay? So this is like a super quick check to make sure the content is quote unquote epic. When you write content, it should create a me too response. People should read it and go like, oh my gosh, me too, right? So I posted one of Carly's posts in the group today for the content review about jeans. And she's talking about like her standards for buying jeans, and she linked it to another article about jeans, but she gave like her whatever. And so like initially I was like, oh my God, like I remember the last time I tried on junior jeans and I was like, holy, what happened to my body? Is it my body or is it the jeans? I don't even know. But I just know that those jeans weren't going past my knees. So moving on to the women's. Like I just remember that time in my life when I was like transitioning from like the juniors to whatever. So I got it, like she got like a me too. That's perfect. I never thought about it that way, right? So whatever you're talking about it, you want to create people that question it. Like, oh, I've never really thought about it that way. So if I come out with a blog about why eating breakfast is bullshit, and you don't really need to eat breakfast right away, people are like, oh, you've never really thought about that, right? So you definitely want people to get you. So, oh, she gets me. I'm so happy she faces the same struggles as me. You want people to understand where you're coming from. So if I'm talking about losing my shit, so you saw Bethany just came out with this challenge. We titled it, how to lose your shit less often. So we were playing with names back and forth, and I was like, Bethany, it has to be like losing your shit. Like that's amazing. People are going to get it. Super, super freaking relatable. And so what are people doing? They're like, oh my God, I lose my shit all the time, right? So that's kind of what it's creating. It's creating that me too, that relatable response. And then the content is going to be, of course, actionable and insightful and whatnot. So you want your content to create some sort of response with people. And if it's not yet, don't worry, right? Because people don't know yet. Sometimes, like I was explaining to someone else the other day, like think about a brand new business in town. It's a local business. And then it's a coffee shop, and then you've got Starbucks, right? Everyone goes to Starbucks. They know them, they like them, they trust them, whatever. It's the same all the time. And then you've got this new place. People like aren't really sure. They might go, they may wait a little bit, they'll go, and then they're not sure. Like people are very hesitant with new stuff. And that's what we are, right? We're new people on the internet. So just remember that if you're not getting that response yet. But of course, you can always post any copy in the Facebook group. There's a lot on idea generation in the portal, but ultimately we have to think harder. We have to think laterally By that, I mean, like, if you're in the health and fitness space, I don't want you reading or listening to all health and fitness podcasts. You already know enough. You don't need to know more about macros or more about strength training or more about hypertrophy or whatever, all of that stuff. You don't need to know that. You need to know about more psychology side or the business side or the mindset piece, right? So thinking laterally and thinking about just like the word, like FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. That's not something new, right? That's a concept that's been around forever, but the health and fitness people started to bring it into their space thinking, oh, so people are probably eating it because they fear FOMO. They fear missing out on the occasion or whatever, so they're just gonna eat the cupcake. That's not anything new, guys. It's just psychology being brought into the health and fitness space. So thinking differently, of course, like taking a spin on things a different way. So, does it always have to be that way? Do you always have to get 8 hours of sleep every night? Can you run and lose fat? I don't know, right? So just all about that type of stuff. And I always use health and fitness just because that's what I do. So that's kind of what I always talk about. So myths, of course. So I'll bring in like Melissa's is, education at home, teaching your child all of these things at home as a mom. So can you do that, right? If you're a mom, and you don't have any teaching experience, you don't have a degree, a certification or whatever, can you really teach your child how to read? How long does it take? What about worksheets, right? All of that stuff, those are myths that she's going to dispel based on her own experience, beliefs, certifications, all that stuff, right? So super, super important. And then of course your experiences. So no one ever has your experience. Yes, it might be similar, but no one's ever gonna have your experience, right? No one's ever gonna have your experience overeating or being on a diet or feeling a certain way or running or whatever it is. No one's going to have yours. So when you tell your experience, it will always stand out. It will always be different. It will always be insightful because it's yours, right? And that's something that I think we kind of lose sight on a little bit because we get so caught up in, the right way and the rules. Facebook copy, just an overview. You will never go wrong with videos and live streams. So you don't need to be a verified user anymore. I don't know why that's on there, but it definitely gives the personal connection. So if you are up for it, I would love for you to do a live stream, a couple of them, and just see what happens, right? Just put it out there. The fastest way to grow your Facebook page right now is to do live streams. I will tell you that right now. So if you want to build it up and get moving, go ahead, put yourself out there, right? Titles, I know, Melissa, that's why I said that. Isn't that funny? Titles, so draw a line in the sand, just like Jen did about the epidural, right? I immediately wanted to read that blog and I didn't even look at the pictures, didn't really read the pre-frame, but I saw the title and I was like, oh, want to click that because that's drawing a line in the sand. She's going to piss people off with that. That's good. That's a good thing, right? So titles are definitely important when you are linking your blogs and things like that. Links, so other people's stuff that you're sharing, it's absolutely perfect to do that. Just make sure you pre-frame it in your own words. So instead of just posting a meme or posting a video or whatever, you want to talk about what it means to you and how it relates to your business, your experience, your people, whatever, so that it's in your own words. Totally fine to share other people's content. That's actually a really good thing. It makes you more credible to do that. And then images, of course, that's important. So you can make your own, you can share images. Again, explain what it means to you. So don't just post a quote with a heart. Tell me what it means to you, right? So explain it, and unless it like really does the job, then just put an emoji and call it a day. Questions are really, really important on Facebook because you want people to engage, right? The more people that engage, the higher you go in the algorithm and the more good stuff happens. So you can totally ask on Facebook, what the hell is your #1 struggle right now? What are you struggling with? When it comes to working out, why aren't you consistent? Time, blah, 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 right? So they go on and on and on about it. So you definitely can ask yes or no questions, or you can ask open-ended questions to get some feedback on that Facebook page. It's actually a really, really good idea. Ads don't really matter at this point unless the content is there. So consistent content first, then we can play with ads. Ads are money. So I don't want you dumping money into something until you're completely ready. But again, we're focusing on organic, but you can totally run ads. If you're ready to run ads, run the ads. I'm totally fine with it. We talked about Instagram a lot. So Instagram is a really good place for you guys to build a following at this point because Facebook is very, very much you pay to play. So just look at all of this stuff. You definitely want to be doing Insta stories. I've seen most of your guys' stories. They're very, very fun and cute. hashtags all day long. You can comment and reply, which is important. Pictures matter. So if the picture's not worthy, no one's really going to read the caption. So you want to make sure the picture at least stops someone from scrolling, because that's what people do on Instagram. Scroll, 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 and they're off. So you want to make sure it captures it enough. That's why Insta stories are really good. It's very intimate and personal space. So it's a little bit different than Facebook, meaning that you're not going to post your blogs really on Instagram. Your blogs are going to go on Facebook. You're not going to post things like teachables on Instagram as much as you would just more personal quirks. And if you can totally post about like the way you do things or styles and all that stuff, you can. It's just not going to be as long-winded as you would maybe on Facebook or in a blog, things like that. The link in your Instagram will always change. So every time we're launching your freemium, your lead magnet, your website, your sales page, whatever, that's always going to change. It's going to be something that we always change, okay? So that depends, Melissa, on the live stream. She asked if it's better to have a topic in mind. For starting, I would have a topic in mind and then go from there. I would have just kind of like plan it out just a little bit. Being a teacher though, you might just be better off cuff. I definitely just go better off cuff. That's just how I roll. But I would definitely like at least have some sort of topic in mind for the first few and then go from there. And Carly, I missed your question, sorry. So we're building content now. Do we post in our page every time we put up a new blog? Yes, so yeah, you do. You're gonna link those to your page as you post them. So yeah, every day. Yes, you want to do that. Yeah, sorry, that's my as fuck. How did we ever get along without this? So emails versus blogs. So this is definitely gonna be coming up as we do more email marketing stuff. So email marketing, which is your AWeber, those are going to be weekly and they're going to be very timely, insightful. You're going to let people know about your life. So all my email list knows Sydney and Kai. They've seen Sydney and Kai grow up. What was LinkedIn profile will always change? That's what was last on the Instagram. Yeah, it just says links will always change. So you're going to let people in on things. They're short, they're sweet. You guys are busy. You know what it feels like to get 90 million emails in your inbox, right? So think about you. How do you feel when you get emails? What do you open? Whose do you open? Why do you open them, right? So if there's somebody's email that comes to your inbox that you always open, yeah, probably, right? Are there somebody's email that you always are like, delete, delete, delete? Why? Why do you always delete them? At one point, you probably read them, but why do you not? Oh, Shelly, that just means that as we go on, so like, as you have sales pages and links to like your lead mag and all that stuff, will always be changing that link in your Instagram. So it's not always going to be your website. It's not always going to be your Facebook page. It's going to be different things. Whatever you want people to click on to go to from Instagram, that's what it's going to be. So this is your money, meaning public launches on Facebook nowadays just aren't happening. So the email list is where the people buy. Those people are the people who are invested in you. They're giving you their email. So that's why we have to nurture them with weekly emails and really, really, really be insightful with them, understand them, and ask them to reply back to you. You reply back to them. So it definitely takes it up a notch. We're talking about more quote unquote work, right? Blogs, on the other hand, are standalone, meaning that people a lot of times will go to your website, read blogs, and not go back again. Or they'll just read one blog and that's it, right? And these can also be vlogs if you're more comfortable doing video. They're more prescriptive in a way that they give tools and tips and novel thoughts, right? So it's a lot of like bullet points, like 3 ways to do whatever, 5 ways to do whatever. They can totally be relatable, telling a story like how Jen's was about her birth story. They can totally be that. In fact, those are probably the most that people want to read. But the blogs are also where you're going to put like the tools and the tips. You're not really going to send that to email as much. If you're going to talk about like 3 ways to do whatever, that's going to be more of a blog. Okay. Does this make sense when we talk about the difference between emails and blogs or vlogs? If you do vlogs, you'll want to do a video. You'll want to upload it to like YouTube or Vimeo or something like that. And then you'll want to write a little bit about what's in that video so that people can do either. They can either watch it or they can just see the bullet points. You can also put video in your emails and try that as well if you're super comfortable on video and you feel like you get your point across more that way than writing. So basically, when do you start writing emails? You start writing emails the minute you get 1 subscriber. I don't care if you write to 1 person every single week, that's who you write to. So we're gonna talk about how we're gonna get emails in just a minute, but so basically the minute you start getting emails is the minute you start writing weekly emails on top of blogs, social media, when we talk about consistent content. That never is gonna go away. And then when we launch a product or service, that's gonna be a lot of emails. Lots of emails, okay? Everybody good on emails versus blogs? One more thing on the blogs, and when I say we'll always have a CTA at the bottom, meaning call to action. So if you write a blog, you're gonna say, for right now, you're gonna say, hop on over to my Facebook page and join in the conversation or whatever. So, or maybe when you have your lead magnet or your freemium, you're gonna say, you know, at the bottom, like sign up for my free whatever kit to whatever, or sign up for weekly insights on my email list. So you're always at the bottom of every blog, you're always gonna have a call to action, having them do something. Go to your Facebook page, sign up for your email list, whatever it is. Okay, so for right now, maybe it's just going over to your Facebook page and joining the conversation or liking your Facebook page or whatever it is. And then once you get your email list, it will always be something to get them on your email list. Mainly because when people read blogs, they really, really like you. And they're like, oh my God, I love her, I love her, I love her, I want more, I want more. And then what? If we don't give them away, they're not gonna search around. If it's right there, they'll do it. If not, they're not going to. That's just the way people work. So yeah, so basically, and that's a good question. So I talked to a lot of girls about this on the phone, and I don't know if I did for you, Stacey, because I don't think you were there yet. So, because we talked so early in January. So basically what I want you guys to do with content is I want you to sit down, and this is after you do like your struggles and your themes and you've talked to people on the phone. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at the month, and I want you to say, okay, what are my themes in my business? It's self-care, it's fitness, it's eating, liking how you eat. And then for 1 week, you're gonna talk about liking how you eat. All day long, that's what you're gonna talk about. You're gonna post something on social media, and then you're gonna expand on that same thought in a blog. And then you're gonna take that blog and you're gonna make it the same exact stuff, and you're gonna write that email about it. So the content, you're not repurposing content. You're not coming up with new things on every platform. You're saying the same thing. You're just saying it in a little bit different way. So the blog's gonna be a little bit longer, then you're gonna shorten it. You're gonna make it a little more insightful on the email, and then you're gonna maybe chop that blog up and make some blog posts about it. It's not hard once you get in the habit of getting the themes down of what you're going to talk about. It keeps you super laser focused. And then when we're ready to launch, we'll talk about anticipation and how to like streamline all of the content into one thing. But for right now, so let's say this week, we're going to talk all about self-care, 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 self-care. I'm going to talk about how we do self-care, what self-care looks like, how you feel, all of that stuff. Everything's going to be about self-care. You're going to write a blog about whatever, 3 ways to get self-care as a busy mom. And then in my email, I'm going to talk about how, you know, my husband's hunting this week and I've had very, very little time for anything, but I'm going to make sure that I take 10 minutes to do whatever. So the themes are super important to help kind of streamline that content so you can pull pieces out and repeat them. So don't be afraid to repeat content across the platforms, because no one is going to read all 4 things. I know we want to think everyone is, but they're not. No one's going to read your blog, your emails, and all your social media posts. They're just not. And if they do, totally fine. It's just going to hit more, right? Most of the time people read stuff and it doesn't sink in anyway. So don't be afraid to have that same content across all of the platforms. Just say it in a little bit different way. You're not going to copy and paste it, but you definitely can have the same thoughts across the board. Okay, does that help? So bottom line is people don't, yep, absolutely. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, 100%. So email marketing 101, so we're going to talk a little bit about email marketing. We're not going to get into all of it, but we're going to talk a little bit about. So why do we build an email list, or how do we build an email list more? We create a lead magnet, and this is something that we're going to give away for free. So maybe it's a checklist, a PDF, all of this stuff. I have tons of examples in the portal. We're going to sign up for Aweber, and there's a free trial, so you want to do that, and then you'll start paying for that. So I think it's like $19 until you start getting more subscribers. but I believe it's a 30-day free trial. So don't sign up until you're ready for it, right? Like, why would you start the free trial until you have a lead magnet to launch out to get people on your email list, right? Because then you're just paying for shit. Then you'll place a sign up box on your website. So that will go on the sidebar of your website. So it'll be a sign up box and it will say, sign up here to receive your getting started kit delivered straight to your inbox. And then you will launch your lead magnet following a little bit of a launch sequence that I will give you. And then we'll do more of a free challenge, kind of a promo thing to build the list even more. And then we will nurture the shit out of that list. So I don't want you to launch anything until it is completely done. So I want you to, if you are here, which most of you are not here, when you get here, I want you to create that lead magnet. So that's me too, Emma. I actually don't do the themes because I like to just go off the cuff. When it comes time to launch a product, service, things like that, you will have to do themes only because you have to make all of your content so super focused on that thing. So if you're not good with themes and you have enough to say you keep doing you. For the people who are worried about that, then you've got to do themes because if not, you'll be stressed. So, so that's my answer to that, okay? So these are kind of the steps that we're going to take to build our email list, right? You can totally sign up for, if you don't want to listen to me and you want to sign up for Aweber because you think you need to do that and you want to put a sign up box on your website that says sign up for weekly emails, go for it. Then if someone signs up, you have to start writing them weekly emails. I would not do that. I would make sure you have that lead magnet done, created, pretty, all of that, and then do the Aweber stuff, right? Because people very, very rarely sign up for nothing. They want something. That's just the way our society is right now. So they want a kit, a handbook, whatever, a PDF, a checklist, whatever, in exchange for their email. So when we talk about lead magnet, you can call a lead magnet an opt-in, a freemium, all of that stuff. 4 things it needs to be. It needs to be short, actionable, goal-oriented, and easy to comprehend and implement. So think of SAGE. So it needs to be all 4 of those things. It cannot be a 20-page book. People, no. It cannot be just your thoughts. It has to provide some sort of action, but it has to be super niched. It needs to get people from A to B, not the entire way. So you're not getting people to lose like 20 pounds with this lead magnet. You might get them started, right? You want to get them started doing whatever it is that you're going to do. So you don't want to get them the entire way. Why? Because that's what your product and service is for. Your product and service is to get them the entire way. Point A to B is kind of a little bit of the way. You definitely want this niched and you want it to be very, very close to what you think you're going to do. So I would never create a postpartum guide because I'm never going to have a product that's related to postpartum anything. I am going to have a lead magnet that talks about strength training because my club is directly related to that, right? So you'll see when I start my running program, I will have a new running thing that's going to come out. People will sign up for that. That will automatically put them on my wait list. So that's going to segment my people so I know who's interested in running, and that's going to get them from A to B. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm not going to teach them how to run their strongest 5K. That's what my program's for. I am going to teach them how to get started, implement strength training to become a better runner. I don't know yet, but I'm just going to teach them a little bit to get them super excited, get them a little bit of a result, and then in order to get the full result, they have to buy my program. Okay, so your free content, remember this, always is going to be better than most people's paid. It's got to be good, guys. It's got to be on Canva. It's got to be pretty. It's got to be so good. So it's going to take time. First, it's going to be the content, but then to make it pretty is going to be a pain in the ass. But it's worth it because you need it to look good. You'll want to have your picture in there, a short bio, and your social media handles, either in the front or the back. And then you'll want to make a 3D cover for your website and for ads if you choose to go that route. So you can go on... you can find a guy on like Fiverr, and I put my guy in the resources. He charges like $10 or something to make a 3D cover, or you can do one on your own. And I will post that site in the Facebook group for you guys if you want to make your 3D cover on your own. Eventually, this lead magnet will lead to sales, right? So your email list is where you make your sales, but eventually what we'll start to do is we'll start to make a lead magnet for all of your programs, your products and services, right? We're not there yet. Right now, we're just making a lead magnet that goes along with what we think we might be doing. We're capturing emails. We're going to nurture that email list, and then we're going to sell to them. That's eventually what we're going to do, okay? So now, that was a lot, right? I told you, I warned you that it's a lot. So what are you going to focus on now? So you're going to CCC, create consistent content. Yes, sorry. There. That is the point of the lead magnet. And there is tons of stuff in the portal, guys, tons of stuff on this stuff. That's why I'm not going super, super deep into it, because you guys need to go into the portal and do this stuff on your own. But there is so much stuff, and I'm not in the portal. There's email marketing 101, basically like how to set up Aweber, but I didn't show you how to set up linking this to how do they get it. I didn't show you that yet because nobody is there. So no one is there, so I didn't even show you that yet, right? So just be patient. And let's get that stuff up. Some of you guys are not even anywhere near this lead magnet, which is totally fine. I actually moved it to this month because some people are ready, but the majority are not, which is exactly how I thought it was going to be, which is perfect. So keep on your website, keep consistent content. Are you good, Stacy? Okay, cool. Okay, so, well, okay, so that was a lot. What do you focus on now? So you're not going to go start a lead magnet. No, do not do it. I'm going to get mad at you. Don't go start a lead magnet. Create consistent content every single day. So now you have to blog every single day and you have social media every day. That might be enough for you right now, and that's totally fine. Get your work blocks, get consistent doing that. Figure out what do I have to say? Get on the phone with those people. Do all that stuff first. Do not go get off this thing and start your lead magnet. Please don't. Please, please, please don't. Finish your website. So your about section, your mission, your work with me, and your contact me page. If you are ready to do your work with me page, you need to get with me in the Facebook group, and I will give you a base of what I want to see on that page. Blog every single day, social media every day, then create your lead magnet. Think about ideas, put it in the Facebook group. What do you guys think about this? Would you guys sign up for this? What do you think about blah, blah, blah? And then sign up for Aweber when ready. You'll put your sign up box on your website, and then you will wait to launch that, your lead magnet, okay? Questions? I told you that was a lot. My throat hurts now. All right, questions. What do we have? Anything else? How do we feel? Everyone feeling good? Excited? Pumped up? Don't forget, guys, your content can be your day-to-day shit. Your content doesn't need to be a new and novel thought every day. It really doesn't. You guys see my content, right? Sometimes it's new and novel, and sometimes it's about what I did that day. I'm very much a day-to-day content person, but you don't want to just rely on that, because when you are busy or when you're stressed or whatever, you don't want to post on social media that day. When you're having a moment, you don't want to air out your dirty laundry on social media. That's not the way you want to do. When you see the light, when you see the insight, when you can turn it around and have a lesson learned, that's when you want to post whatever kind of day. You know, if the kids were not napping, like today, I cleaned up shit off the floor. It's like the first time I've ever cleaned up shit, which is pretty amazing. Of course, when Trent's gone and all that stuff. So Kai took off his diaper and shit all over the floor, and Sydney's screaming and blah, blah, blah. And like, I lost it, right? Because naturally, right? I'm trying to do 7 things at one time. I'm covered in shit. And so I'm not going to post that on social media. Like, oh my God, like what kind of fucking day is this? Blah, blah, blah. I'll post it kind of like probably later when I like have like an aha moment, or I'm laughing or I'm drinking wine. Then I'll post it because it's kind of funny. It's relatable. It's insightful. Like when I think about my teachable from it, but I'm not just going to like air it out. Right. So remember when Trent had cancer, like I didn't post about social media for a long time. I wasn't ready. When I was able to turn it around and be like, oh, well, maybe this is why moms should take care of themselves. That's when I posted, because I had like the turnaround for it. So it's okay to be kind of like a little bit later. So social media posts are short, they're timely, they're very personal. Blogs are not so much personal. So you're not gonna blog about like the day-to-day stuff. Like you can totally blog like a birth story or something like that, but those are kind of those are like more of exceptions. So the blog posts are gonna be more like 3 tips to do blah, blah, blah. You're not gonna social media post about that. Like your blog post might be like, what is moderation, or 6 tips to trust people, or 5 ways to do whatever, the #1 thing moms should focus on, or whatever. Those are going to be more of the blog posts, more of the teachables and actionables, more prescriptive ways, where the social media is just more like the quirks, you showing up authentically. You definitely are going to link the blogs. You're going to be teachable in the social media, but not every day, because that's boring. Should we be posting our content at a certain time each day? Doesn't matter. I would just play with that, Connie, and see where your people are. So I know, like for my times, like the morning is usually pretty good and the nighttime is really good for me. So you want to make sure, you just want to play around with it. Ultimately, good content is always liked and shared. That's just the bottom line on that. So hashtags go in the comments. So hashtags go in the first comment. So they typically don't go in the post. They go in the second piece for Instagram. One of my likers messaged me that I need a blog because my social media is so long-winded. Oh, that's too funny. Well, there you go. There's your blogs. And then what you do is you take that long-winded blog and you chop it up into different social media posts. But social media, I mean, they can be long. People will read it, just not every day, you know? So, okay, any other questions? Everybody good? Got a lot to do. Definitely keep up in the Facebook group. Just, you know, at least once a week, just do a check-in on where you are, what you're working on. That's all I ask from you, that you guys do that. We'll get into, so we'll do lead magnet launches. We'll talk more about email marketing, and then we'll get into, you know, products, services, and all that stuff. So the retreat stuff will be mostly marketing, product, services, and all that stuff. That's kind of what the main topics of that will be. It will always be in the portal and stuff too, but that's kind of where we'll be, because we're February now. So it's going to take a little bit of time to write a lot of content. So you are very welcome. And like, I know Stacy had someone ask her about like her coaching and whatever. So if you're getting those messages already, then just get with me. Like we'll create a sales page. It's not a big deal. It's not hard. Yes, it's scary because you don't have anything, you know what we're doing, but it's totally fine. We'll get it. We'll figure it out. And that's what we'll do. Okay. So just make sure you get with me. And yeah, I mean, the more wins we can get, the better, right? Cool. So there's so much stuff on the portal for this month. So make sure you take your time going through it. And yeah, that's totally fine. Totally fine, Emma. You can have both. Totally, you can have both. You just want to, as your email stuff gets up, most of that stuff that you're writing is going to be more of your email stuff. And then the blogs will be more of the teachables, prescriptables, only because you want people to sign up for whatever. You know, going forward, we're going to have those CTAs at the bottom. And so you're going to want people to sign up for more from you. And they normally just read, if it's a blog about a story or something like that, they normally just read it and they're like good. They don't normally sign up for emails from that. They could, they totally could, but most people will read something and it's something, a topic per se, and so they'll want that. And I'm only making you guys blog because it's your first year. After this first year, you're not gonna have to blog nearly as much, so don't get attached to it. Don't freak out. You just won't, you're not gonna have to blog as much. Like I don't think I've blogged since Halloween and it's January. So yeah, don't freak out, don't worry. But you definitely have to have a lot of content on your blog for a lot of different reasons. So just do. Cool? You totally can have your stories, especially now because you're not emailing yet, on the blog. Totally have them, and we pick and choose, okay? And yes, you will learn a lot as we go. But you're never doing it wrong, right? If you're doing it, you're not doing it wrong, you're doing it. Not doing it is doing it wrong because you're not doing it. Just remember that. There's no such thing as doing it wrong. I know. A blog a day is scary as shit. I know. It sucks. Totally fine. Totally fine, Emma. Yeah, a blog a day is a lot. And that's why I said, don't start making a lead magnet if you can't make a blog a day, right? Because you're still going to have to do a blog a week. So absolutely, Connie, please invite people to like your page. In the trainings for this month, I showed you how to invite people, random people that like your post on your Facebook page, how you can just invite them to like based off them liking your post. So make sure you see that. Yep, absolutely. Invite the shit out of it. And then post, right? And then post. So yeah, so I'm here to give you like a lot of trainings and tips and to like show you how to do this business, but I'm also here to remind you that you're doing it perfectly because you're here and you're doing it, and that there's no right way to do it. There's no certain time that it needs to be done by. That's kind of my job too, is to make sure that that I'm helping you with the mindset around this stuff, because it's really easy to get sucked into a mind fuck and to be like, oh my God, like, and then stop doing it, right? So that's kind of my job too, is to make sure we're all on the same page when we talk about mindset and we talk about, you know, the speed of it and the trust and all of, you know, and patience and wanting to sell tomorrow and all that stuff. That's my job. So if I'm like, no, you're not ready, like that's what I do. So, and you guys know I don't sugarcoat stuff, which is a good thing and a bad thing, I guess. All right, everybody good? Okay, so replay will be on the portal if you need to look back on anything. And I will catch you guys in the Facebook group. I guess that's it. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here and learn and grow and all of the above. And I will see you guys in the Facebook group.